Hello, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to continue a very important and very powerful recent thread of conversation here today. So, for the past couple of days, we've been looking at the importance of setting the goal and the fact that when we set the goal at the outset of any situation, the means, the situation itself, the circumstances, the means fall in line to accomplish that goal. So, this is A Course in Miracles. This is spirituality. And we all want the same thing, the peace of God. By the way, there is nothing else. But because that's what we want, we're invited to set the goal of every situation as truth, and allow our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, into that situation. When we set the goal as truth, the Holy Spirit, at our express invitation, enters and runs the show. The outcome is peace. Peace is the condition of truth. What this means in our day-to-day lives is we feel differently. No matter what the outcome of the situation is, we're peaceful, which is huge, because in the overall scheme of our practice, in the overall trajectory of our spiritual life, peace is the condition of truth. When we're peaceful, in other words, truth dawns of itself. In the grand scheme of things, this means that when our perception is completely clarified, when we see things as they are, I mean, really and truly and completely as they are, truth dawns of itself. That is awakening. That is what we call enlightenment. It's the peace of God as direct experiential realization, setting the ego aside completely. So that is the path that we appear to find ourselves on. If you're new to A Course in Miracles or to these videos, welcome. And of course, if you're a long-time viewer, again, welcome. I appreciate all of you, not only for being here, but also and especially for your dedication and commitment to your spiritual practice, which, as you're well aware, if you're not, you will be. It is the highest and best offering that you could ever give anyone anywhere at any time, and there is nothing that even compares to that. So I thank you for that. What we all find is that spirituality is about practical experience. It is. It's about experience, isn't it? It has value, yeah, of course. It has value to understand teachings such as these with the intellectual thinking mind. But we begin to see, as we put these teachings into practice, how limited that intellectual thinking mind is. And we begin to see what this series of videos talks about a lot, because we all need to hear it. That is, that spirituality is all about experience, and we learn these teachings the best by doing them, by putting them into practical application. It is our experience from our direct practical application that teaches us the best. We learn by doing and experiencing the result. So we end up proving the truth of these teachings to ourselves. Our experience demonstrates that all of these ideas that we're poring over and listening to and watching and reading about are true. Want proof? Fantastic. We all prove it to ourselves. So, hence the emphasis on practical application, and hence the repeated emphasis on setting the goal of every situation that you encounter in life as truth. Really, this can be as simple as sending an email. The goal is truth. In the business context, in the business world, the goal of a meeting could be truth. Set the goal as truth, and the means fall in line to see it done. Peace results. We can do this in any relationship in our lives, and we see right away that, in fact, it is 100% completely about practical application. So, if the goal is truth, the means fall in line. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, plays their part. Now, of ourselves, we can't guarantee that everybody's going to be peaceful and help us have peace of mind in a situation. But all we do is set the goal and allow our inner teacher to do the rest. He does the rest. The Holy Spirit's in charge of all of that. And by the way, the Holy Spirit is not some foreign or outside power. That is a quite common belief stemming from a number of our upbringings, excuse me, and religious traditions. And we often don't really know what the Holy Spirit even is. Well, it's part of our mind. So you're welcome to call it an it or he, him, or whatever you wish. It doesn't matter. It's part of our mind. So the Holy Spirit's part of you. You're not ceding power and control to a foreign or an outside entity. There is, in fact, no such thing. So this requires faith. I know. It does. It requires faith on our part to set the goal as truth and then to relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher. Because that is what spirituality is about. No matter what the tradition, no matter what it is, there is a heavy, heavy component of relax and trust. We set the goal as truth to access our real power, not give it away, but to access it. See, in the world, we tend to see that completely backwards, which should come as no surprise because we all continue to do the same things over and over again, and we're expecting a different result, which, as you may be well familiar with, is Einstein's definition of insanity. We expect to find the peace of God out there in shiny objects, in a new relationship, in a new business partnership, in stuff, in all kinds of things. And what we overlook completely is what we really need to focus on. I mean, doesn't that make sense? It does, doesn't it? It's an inside job. It's all in our mind. This is a course in mind training. If you were expecting something else, well, all right, that's what this is. So does this mean that this is going to be every single person's devoted and path, right? Does it mean that everybody's going to follow this in this lifetime? No, no, certainly not. There are many doors in world spirituality. They all lead to the same place in the end. How can we say that for sure? God is the only reality, so naturally, naturally, all doors would open unto him and lead there in the end. Now, the question for each and every one of us is what speaks to you? Right? What is speaking to you right now? Something has you here, or you would not be watching. You would not have even stepped foot on what we call the spiritual path in the first place. So when something connects and lands for you, please know that it is your inner teacher speaking to you, and you're invited when you recognize this. And sometimes we recognize it very, very powerfully, viscerally, sometimes. Just know that it is your inner teacher speaking to you. This is an opportunity for you to take your inner teacher's guidance, to relax and trust and have faith that the outcome is certain. Set the goal of every situation as truth and watch your mind become more peaceful. If that doesn't sound glittery and shiny and sexy and hot to you, understand that a tranquil mind is not a small gift. That's one of the famous and often quoted lines from A Course in Miracles. A tranquil mind is not a small gift. It's not. It's huge. In fact, it's everything, as we find out. Set the goal as truth. Peace is the result. Peace is the condition of awakening, of truth. So we have faith along the way, and there is no problem. We're told here in the text of A Course in Miracles, something that we deep down all recognize and we all know. There is no problem that faith cannot solve. We have faith in our inner teacher, which is faith in ourselves, capital S. Yeah. There's no problem that it can't solve. And faith and peace are closely, closely tied together. They come together. In fact, what we do in the world is get in our own way. We tend to separate the problem from the source of the problem. What I mean by that is rather than look at our own mind, we tend to dissociate, to project a problem out there. So we think. And I say that because there is, in fact, nothing, or nor is there anyone out there. We tend to put the problem outside of us because we can't deal with the pain. We can't deal with the guilt, with the fear, with the gnawing sense of anxiety or depression or sadness or lack, whatever it is. So we put it out there. And how does this show up in our lives here in the world? We blame people and it creates conflict. Well, we've created the conflict in our own mind. And where we have faith, where we set the goal of every interaction as truth, conflict is impossible. With faith that your inner teacher will show you the way, conflict is impossible. Okay, so it sounds well and good here in the abstract while we're watching a video on YouTube. Yeah, I fully get that. It's a common experience to have difficulty putting this into practice because here in the abstract, here on YouTube, or when we watch any other spiritual themed video or listen to a podcast or read something in a book or online, it really can make sense to us deep down here in this context. Yet our real learning, as we've seen and see repeatedly, is in the actual doing. It's in the putting it into practice that we really and truly learn. So these are all highly practical lessons. The genius of A Course in Miracles is that it is a self-study curriculum. Again, it may or may not be what you choose to follow in this lifetime. But really, I mean, that's up to you and your inner teacher. But no matter what you do, I invite you to cultivate this relationship with your inner teacher. And we learn by doing. So if you're skeptical at all, that setting the goal of any situation as truth results in peace, which goes on as we do it to clarify our perception and results in enlightenment, the peace of God. If you're skeptical, well, not a problem. We have all been, all of us. I mean, expect that, certainly, on the path. Put it into practice. That's my invitation to you. Just do it and see what happens. You may well find that your faith will grow, that your forgiveness becomes deeper and your perception becomes clearer, and that you're calmer, maybe less anxious. Remember, a tranquil mind is not a small gift. Not at all. In fact, it's huge. This course is all about that. Now, the problem is not outside us. It's in our mind, and the problem and the solution are always joined. They're in the same place. The problem, our perceived sense of separation. The answer, the Holy Spirit. Forgiveness, the miracle of true forgiveness. Love, are setting the goal of every situation as truth. We do that in our mind. And no one has to even know we're doing it. It is something that we can simply utter silently to ourselves. The goal for this is truth. Holy Spirit, please enter. And what do? We step aside. We say what we're called to say. We do what we're called to do. And as we do it, we relax and trust that our inner teachers got us. Now, we find that excruciatingly difficult because we've all been conditioned to be highly, highly self-reliant and to rely on our own guile, our own wit. Yet we see the limitations of that over and over again, which brings us right back to where we find ourselves here on the spiritual path with a magnificent and powerful opportunity to change our mind right now in the present. When else? Okay, so as we continue this theme, you can really see and appreciate the depth of these teachings. It's why this video is even happening, is because it is so beneficial. It's so beautiful and it's so highly transformative. Perhaps you've experienced some of this because these videos are for both beginning and experienced students alike, and it's for anyone. Really, you don't even have to be a course student to benefit from listening to your inner teacher, which is what's going on right here. This, as I'm fond of saying, is nothing special. It's not. In fact, it's just a pixelated image on your screen. It's constellated and assembled somehow to look like a middle-aged man from Arizona in the United States, in North America, speaking a language that many of us understand in the world. That's no accident at all. When something lands for you, it's the Holy Spirit. Count on that, please. Count on that and relax and trust your inner teacher's guidance. Now, along the way, of course, questions are more than inevitable. I mean, what is spirituality anyway, but a deep process of self-inquiry that can seem horrifyingly painful and excruciating at times, can't it? Well, yeah, it can. So I am here to serve as a guide and to help all of you in any way that I can. So if there is a question that you have, please feel welcome to leave it here in the comment thread on YouTube. And I would be happy to answer it. Also, if you have not subscribed, please do that. I'd love to have you join us. The prompt is here in the corner of your screen, that red arrow, red and white. Yeah, click it, and a prompt comes up saying subscribe. When you join us, you'll get several videos a week. And as always, here on YouTube, if you would like to be notified each time a new video drops here, which is several times each week, in fact, then just click that bell that you see on your screen. It manages your subscriptions, and you can choose to be notified if you want to. Okay? So I thank you again for your dedication and commitment to practice, and questions are most certainly always welcome here. Okay? Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.